More than 70 people have been killed on Saturday across Egypt after supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood and the Anti-Coup Alliance staged more demonstrations in protest at the killings of hundreds of protesters in the capital Cairo and other cities. The killings come after the military-backed government ordered troops and police to disperse a sit-in by the Muslim Brotherhood in two suburbs of the capital. We have more on this report by DWTV.
Violence continued in Egypt on Friday. Tens of thousands of supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood staged rallies after Friday prayers. Again, there were clashes with security forces. There were dramatic scenes in Cairo as protesters on a bridge slid down ropes and cables in an effort to escape the automatic gunfire on the streets above. But the protesters remained defiant.
Everyone is here to express their opinion. Down with military rule, down with the old regime, down with anyone who kills Egyptians.
In Cairo's Ramses Square, the military fired tear gas to disperse around 20,000 pro-Morsi demonstrators who had gathered there. The Muslim Brotherhood accuses the police of shooting live ammunition at peaceful protesters. Scores of people died during the day. Violence was reported from cities across the country, like here in Alexandria. The clashes look set to continue. Egypt is edging towards chaos.
Meanwhile, an uneasy camp prevails in the capital, Cairo, after the Muslim Brotherhood threatened more protests, with the army vowing to use live fire to stop any threats to the peace. CNN's Nick Payton-Walls has the latest update from Cairo.
But I can certainly tell you we are not talking about large-scale protests or marches at all at this point. There is a continued calm across Cairo, and what protests there are seem to be incredibly small in numbers. So at this stage, unlikely to lead to violence and clashes. And this comes after them having announced two substantial marches heading in the direction of key government buildings, despite a military threat that they would greet any advance towards state institutions with live gunfire, lethal force. The Muslim Brotherhood citing that security fear as a reason to perhaps rethink some demonstrations. Confusion throughout the afternoon, but it seems now, as evening sets in, that the marches are happening in incredibly small numbers in much fewer locations. So nothing like the continuing day after day after day of marches which they'd pledged at this point. And I think many are wondering, are the Brotherhood regrouping? Is the fuel behind their protests slowly ebbing? Are they just simply scattered? Or are they still reeling so much from the brutality of the last week's crackdown that it's not able to field numbers like they were before for Lula?
The trial of South African double amputee athlete Oscar Pistorius will begin next March. He is back in court tomorrow for his indictment charged with killing his girlfriend model Riva Steenkamp. CNN's Robin Cano tells us what to expect.
She was one of South Africa's top models, and on Monday Riva Steenkamp would have turned 30. August 19th instead marked by a return to court for her boyfriend Oscar Pistorius. His second appearance since he was granted bail in February. The Olympic star is charged with the premeditated murder of Steenkamp. She was shot and killed by Pistorius inside the bathroom of his home on Valentine's Day. Pistorius says it was a tragic mistake. He heard noises and thought Steenkamp was an intruder. The state says it was intentional. And after a 2-month delay, the prosecution says the investigation is finished and their indictment is ready.
So now on Monday we will start to get an indication of which of those initial allegations they have now managed or feel that they've managed to back up with evidence.
Also on Monday, a trial date is expected to be set. A family spokesperson tells CNN the defense is preparing for a long trial full of more postponements.
Similar sorts of cases have taken as long as 2 years, 3 years in order to get from the beginning of the trial to sentencing, for example, and over a year to get to a conviction stage.
A trial that the family of Riva Steenkamp says they will not attend. Robin Kerno, CNN, Pretoria.
We now take a second break. In the Bundesliga, Bayern has become the first German team to go 27 matches unbeaten. The Bavarians narrowly defeated Eintracht Frankfurt 1-0. Meanwhile, Hoffenheim has also thrashed Hamburg 5-1. We have more in this report.
Munich ground out a narrow 1-0 win against Frankfurt. Mario Mandzukic scored the game's only goal in the 13th minute with a spectacular volley. It was Bayern's 27th league game undefeated, a new Bundesliga record. And Hoffenheim thrashed Hamburg 5-1 thanks to an inspired showing by striker Roberto Firmino. The Brazilian helped himself to a brace and also set up all of his side's other goals. Rafael van der Vaart's first half penalty was scant consolation for the home side.
To the rest of Saturday's results, we saw Bayern beat Frankfurt there, Stuttgart lost to Leverkusen, Wolfsburg thrashed Schalke 4-0, Augsburg failed to score against Bremen, Freiburg lost at home to Mainz 2-1, and that stinging defeat for Hamburg at the hands of Hoffenheim.
And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. Service for Peace, a youth group in Sokoto and partners, have provided food supplies for families affected by the recent flash floods in the community. Supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood have threatened to continue their protests across Egypt, prompting a stern warning from the army that it will use live fire to disrupt any threat to peace in Egypt. And South Africa Blade runner Oscar Pistorius is set to appear in court next March to face charges of the killing of his girlfriend, celebrity model Reeva Steenkamp. That brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned to Grts and enjoy the range of our interesting programs.
Forget about you. With a dozen roses, such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. I wanna know.
These are moments you wouldn't want to miss. Is it love, lust, obsession, or infatuation? You want to find out? I'll provide you with all the answers and solutions to your problems on The Love Zone.